So normally for a review, I'm wearing the jersey of, in this case, it'd be the Avalanche. This was a slaughter. So I don't feel like that does justice to just how this went. I'm befuddled. Now, there are a couple of things that went through my mind while I was watching this. There's the whole controversy going on in baseball right now that Fernando Tatis hits a grand slam for the San Diego Padres, and everybody loses their mind, including his own manager, because there should be a mercy rule. Oh, why are you doing hitting a home run grand slam on a 3-0 pitch? I don't know. They threw one right down the middle, and he hit it out of the park. That's his job. He gets paid a lot of money to do it. And I've often said with hockey, the mercy rule is weird, and I guarantee that somewhere Don Cherry is not happy with the Colorado Avalanche, because this is the kind of thing he couldn't stand. So, all kidding aside, let's go ahead and get into the review. All right, that's a little more appropriate. So, Colorado is into the next round, very likely to end up playing against, I'm going to say Dallas, but we'll see. But yeah, early chances for the Coyotes. That's where the good notes for the Coyotes end. They actually came out pretty good in this. They did. To start out, they weren't too bad. Nichushkin had a fast break. Chychrun gets a delay of game, and we'll open the floodgates there. Post from Makar, and then Kadri gets a power play goal at 4:39 from Landeskog and McKinnon. So we will continue the narrative in the Toronto media that Kadri somehow was beloved in Toronto, and what did they do trading him? When at the time of that trade, there was plenty defending it. Oh, that's fine, and he gets suspended, so it's not a big deal. Didn't get suspended this year. Grabner takes a penalty. Avs go to the power play. That's their second, and guess what? Score again. Girard scores from Burakovsky and Comfer at 8 minutes and 29 seconds. So over about 4 minutes, this game's done. And that was the fifth shot by Colorado, and Arizona only had one. So yes, Arizona got early chances, not a lot of shots, and then Colorado starts making them pay. Colorado's doing what Colorado does. McKinnon tried to make it 3-0, and I put up there this could get ugly because there wasn't a lot of pushback. You look for Arizona's defense to push back. Maybe somebody starts a fight. I don't know, something. Some kind of a physical stand. Some kind of, you're not going to get through us. We don't want to see our coach get fired because we want to play to keep his job. I didn't see a lot of that. And Tocchet, I have to say, if they don't move on from Rick Tocchet after this, especially considering John Chayka's out, I would be very, very surprised. I honestly would be very, very surprised if the Arizona Coyotes, if Alex Maruella looking at this situation doesn't say we need to make a major change here. So, Calvert then nearly made it 3-0 as the barrage continued. Landeskog passed it to Rantanen, and that nearly hits. And that was during the too many men on the ice penalty that was power play number 3 for Colorado. So Colorado continues to get power play chances. You can't give them 3 in the first period. That doesn't work. The Avs pushed again with 3 minutes left, and eventually, Kadri gets a breakaway. That's the guy you don't want getting a breakaway right now because he's doing pretty well. He gets a goal from Burakovsky and Donskoy at 18:32. Burakovsky had a very good game. There's a lot of players just hitting their stride right now. And it's 3-0 Colorado after 1. That is where I wrote Avs win 4-1. That's when I put that on the board, was after the first period. And I said, that's it. Colorado wins this series. This is done. Second period, big early saves by Darcy Kemper, who, bless his heart, his effort never went away. And I mean that. There's no mean jokes in that. I mean, Darcy Kemper genuinely was still trying to make saves while the defense in front of him was porous and genuinely pretty awful. So Kadri kept being denied by Kemper as well. Kadri did have a number of chances for the hat trick. It didn't quite come through. The shots were even through the first 8.5 minutes. They were 6 apiece. They don't end up being 6 apiece, but through 8.5 minutes, the Coyotes were getting some chances. But the Avs don't have mercy, and Colorado also didn't have to worry about defense. They were allowed to cycle. They were allowed to set up perfect shots. Kemper was left to the Wolves on this one. McKinnon gets the goal from Rantanen at 9:51. The Avs then get power play number 4 as Chychrun takes a penalty. And this really felt like it was men against boys at this point. This was a team that's a Stanley Cup contender that looks just as good as advertised, that looks like they're ready to go in and take this out. So on that power play, McKinnon gets a goal from Rantanen and Makar at 10:49 on the power play. Honestly, I thought that's where you at least pull Kemper. I thought the mercy pull happens at 5-0. I thought you've got to get him out of there. Didn't happen. Kemper stopped Calvert on a break, as the mercy rule is not in effect for the Avalanche. Pierre, honestly, at this point, Pierre Maguire praising any member of the Coyote that he noticed was making a lot of effort with blocking shots and still trying. This is where we were at this point in the game, where we are praising players for doing their job, for not giving up, for saying, "Hey, I'm going to go out on the ice and I'm gonna do some stuff here." And then they start the Taylor Hall talk, and there is some discussion to be had about Taylor Hall. This game, this series, to me, is a perfect example of why, when people are talking about, hey, Arizona needs to keep Hall and give him all kinds of money for a long term, they're already a team that's up against the cap. You're going to have to move guys out to keep Taylor Hall and to stay under the cap. And right now, this is a team that is nowhere near contention for the playoffs. And Taylor Hall, honestly, his best years are probably behind him. That great year he had in New Jersey where he won the Hart, that is probably the peak. And I really think that Arizona, if they overcompensate for this by giving him a ton of money, I think they're going to regret it. But before the second period's over, Zadorov gets a goal from McKinnon and Landeskog at 18 minutes and 16 seconds. So it is 6-0. And again, by this point, the announcers aren't really even talking about the game. So as we go into the third period, the at least the mercy rule of let's get Kemper out of there kicks in. So Raanta starts the third period. Not that it's going to matter, right? Because at this point, it's the slaughter. But I will say Colorado did let up in the third period. They did. This was, all right, that's it. We just want to make sure we don't get hurt. I noticed that it seemed like there was less ice time to the main guys, and we're getting the bottom six guys in there playing. So, as you see, I paused that too long and started playing, so I have to restart that game. But Jost takes a penalty, and if the Coyotes can score 4 goals on the power play, then they're close. So yeah, they're looking at they need 4 goals in the same play. The shots were 2-1 in favor of Colorado at 6.5 minutes, and I wondered if mercy was starting to set in. Clayton Keller then gets a goal from Demers and Stepan at 6:51, and that was the second shot of the period for the Arizona Coyotes. So the second shot of the third period, and Arizona's on the board. There's no shutout for Grubauer. That's basically the biggest story out of this. Stepan then almost gets one. The Avs have really let up. They only had 3 shots at 12.5 minutes into that third period. Burakovsky takes a penalty. We're at 7 minutes and 32 seconds left. And again, with Burakovsky in the box, they need about 4 goals on that power play. And again, it's just not going to happen, because it's not physically possible to get 4 goals on a minor. Raanta stopped Donskoy's shorthanded chance, and then Compher would get a goal from Nieto at 15:19. No celebration from Compher on that goal. None. No celebration whatsoever. Also, no goalie pull. Stepan had a chance late that was covered up in the crease. But, yeah, Colorado ends up coming out of this with a 7-1 victory. And if you're a Coyotes fan, I don't know what to tell you. You guys have been killed 14-2 in the last 2 games by a team that looks like they're ready to steamroll their way to at least a Stanley Cup final. And for Colorado fans, you've got to feel great. This team looks like they're built to win right now. This is the best that McKinnon's ever looked in the playoffs. Kadri is the perfect addition to this team. The blue line looks great. Makar looks fantastic. Arizona outshot in the first 12-6, 18-12 in the second. 18 shots. It didn't feel like Arizona had 18 shots. 6 shots for each team in the third. 36-24 were the shots in favor of Colorado. I think those shots kind of flatter Arizona. Hits were 30-22 in favor of Arizona, which makes sense because they were puck chasing a lot. Power plays, Arizona 0 for 2. Colorado 3 for 4. They were 6 for 11 in the last 2 games of this series. Kemper saved 24 out of 30. Raanta saved 5 out of 6. And Grubauer saved 24 out of 25 for the Avalanche. So now the Avalanche move on. It's very possible they end up playing Dallas in the next round, and we'll see how that goes should that come to pass. We may know by tomorrow night a lot of the matchups in the second round. I'll be able to do all the previews on them. But for Colorado, they really embarrassed Arizona. It almost feels like after Kemper saved 49 out of 51, Colorado said, nope, this isn't going to happen. No, we're not, that's not going to it's not us. We're not going to have that problem. We're going to steamroll these guys out of here. And they did. They absolutely obliterated the Arizona Coyotes. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happened upon this video, thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.